Yo, what's up ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Ndifon Ntui, and on this channel I make some tutorials. I post new videos on Wednesdays and on Saturday, so please make sure you check back on those days in order to watch new content. If you like the video, please push like my videos. If you enjoy the videos, it really helps me out. Thank you so much for all your support in the past, and thank you for watching the video now. If you're a beginner or if you're a person who wants to push up on your skill, I offer online courses. I'll be showing a demo on how to make a jumpsuit. If you're interested, please send a Telegram message to the number that you can see on the screen. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely day. Bye-bye. Alright, welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to draft the top that you saw on the thumbnail. So to begin, first of all, because the zipper is in front, that means we need to keep the zipper allowance in front. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep whatever you're comfortable with as your zipper allowance first. Okay, so usually I keep like 2 inches, but in this case I'm going to keep 1.5. Now, after you've kept 1.5, you're going to come to the top of your fabric and then keep half an inch. Okay, so first we're going to draft the bodice, then I'm going to show you how to extract the pattern that we will need for this crop top from our bodice. So the very first part of the bodice that we're going to place is the shoulder. The shoulder, working with 15 divided by 2, 7.5. Make a mark at 7.5. Slope the shoulder by by 1 inch, sorry, over here. So you come down by 1 inch and rule a line from here to here. Now we don't really need the shoulder. What we need is the bodice. Okay, so just do that. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to place your armhole measurement. How you find the armhole measurement is the bust divided by 6 plus 1.5. The bust I'm working with is 36 divided by 6. 36 divided by 6 is 6 plus 1.5, 7.5. I'm going to come down here to 7.5 and place it. Alright, then the next thing is to place my under bust length. Okay, so my under bust length is 14. Okay, then the next thing is we need to know where you want the top to stop. So this is a crop top, and just 2 inches after your under bust length at 16 would be a crop top. That's okay, but for me I want to bring the top a bit lower because I like the look of a crop top when the crop top stops, and then roughly half an inch to 1 inch after your trouser or your skirt starts from there. So the top should just leave a little hole, not something so big, but whatever you prefer. At this point, place the top length for your crop top. So the top length I'm going to use for the crop top is 18 inches. So I made a mark at 18, and then after you come to your under bust length, see here, after your under bust length, I want you to place your bust point. So your bust point is 4 inches higher than your under bust length. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Place your bust over here. Okay, rule lines across all the points that you have. Then I'm going to keep half inch after here for my hemming allowance, just half an inch. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place all my horizontal measurements. So measurements like the distance around your bust and your under bust round. Okay, so the bust is 36 divided by 4, that is 9. I'm going to place 9 here. Okay, then I'm going to come down to the under bust round. The under bust round is 31, that's 7.75. I'm going to place that here. Okay, then I'm going to place the same thing down here at 7.75. Alright, then connect all your dots together. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I have to decide. So this is a bustier, alright? So because it's a bustier, we need to cut it like that. So first of all, decide how low you want the crop top to be. Okay, depends on how much cleavage you're comfortable showing, but just know that once you come, I said this before, once you pass 6 inches you start showing cleavage on most people's bodies. Once you come lower than 6 inches, some cleavage is going to be out. So what I'm going to do is, in the front here, I'm going to come down to 8 inches and make a mark. This is where I want the deepest point to be. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my bust point to bust point measurement divided by 2 plus half. So the bust point to bust point measurement for me, that's the nipple to nipple measurement, is 7 inches. 7 inches divided by 2 is 3.5. 3.5 plus half inch, that's 4 inches. So I'm going to place that everywhere here from top to bottom. Okay, after I have done this, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to the shoulder, the part of the shoulder, okay, immediately above where you have this your 4-inch line. Okay, I'm going to come to that part of the shoulder and I'm going to come down to 6 inches, okay, and make a mark. Okay, so now here I have 8 inches for the deepest part. That's because here is going to represent the center. This part here is 6, it's over here. So I want it to start from here, open up to here, and then go down into the armhole. So that's what we're going to do now. So you see, that is what we have there. Now the next thing I'm going to do is for the right underneath the bust area. Okay, I mean at this point, the next thing I'm trying to do now, I'm trying to create the darts. Okay, so after the bust half inch, after the under bust round, I'm going to come up and make a mark at half an inch. I've explained this before in my how to draft a Bustier dart. Okay, an off shoulder Bustier dart. So come up half inch up. Next thing you want to do is here you're going to place your under bust curve. Okay, for me I'm going to place 1.8 inches, just a bit in between, and then I'm going to place the same thing down here. If you don't know what your under bust curve is or what to use for your own bust size, see my video on how to draft an off shoulder Bustier. You're going to make a curve from this bust point out to here. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come to the top, and over here I'm going to place 1 inch over here and half inch over here. So check this out. I'm going to place half inch here and I'm going to place 1 inch here. Okay, so with this I have created the darts for the bust. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to keep all my allowance. Before I start keeping allowance, I'm going to make provision for this 1.8 inches that I took away from here and for the 1.5 at the top. So here I'm going to first pay back the 1.8, and up here I'm going to pay back the 1.5. Over here I'm going to place the 1.8 too. Alright, now I'm going to connect all the darts together. And now I'm going to keep my regular allowance of 1.5. So make sure that you keep here straight. So the next thing I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to cut it out so that you know where you cut. Okay, when I'm cutting at the top part here, I'm going to keep half inch everywhere around the top part here when I cut. Okay, so after this I'm going to show you how to draft the back. So these are the two patterns that I'll use for the front. The next thing is I'm going to draft the back. When I'm drafting the back, I'm going to draft irregular bodies first of all, and then I'm going to come back to show you how to cut out your back from it. But because we have zipper allowance in front, you do not need the zipper allowance to be at the back anymore. So just draft irregular bodies. Alright. Okay, so you see I have irregular bodies at the back, normal shoulder, bust, under bust round, and the top length that I want. Now the next step is how to keep your allowance. Now there's going to be a dart from here, from the bottom to the top at 4 inches. So because of the darts that we're going to keep here, I want you to keep 2.5 inches of allowance here. Okay, here you're going to keep 2 inches of allowance, and at the top you're going to keep 1.5 inches of sewing allowance. So the top is going to rhyme with the 1.5 inches we kept at the front for our actual allowance, but down here we have 2 inches and 2.5 because of the darts that we're going to hold. The next thing we're going to do is, remember, the bodies at the front stopped at the armhole exactly, but had half inch on top for sewing allowance. So that's where we're going to stop. The back, I want to curve the back in a bit So what I'm going to do, I'm going to curve in to my bust area. I'm cutting this, I'm going to keep ½ inch at the top of here and cut everything else out. Okay, so after you've cut out this pattern, use this pattern, that's this one here, and these two patterns to cut your fabric and your lining. Okay, so you're going to place the same patterns on top of your fabric. You're not making any alterations to the fabric. I'm going to show you how to cut the back. When you make your fold on your fabric and you place your back, make sure you place your back close to a folded edge. So when you fold your fabric, make sure that your back is sitting right at the edge, like so that when you cut, it comes out as one piece. But as for the front, you can make a fold, however, place it on top and cut. For the front, we want 2 pieces of this and we want 2 pieces of this. All right. Okay, so you can see I have cut both sides of the fabric and the lining. Okay, that's for the center front. This is for the side of the front, fabric and lining the same, and the back too, fabric and lining have been cut the same. You can see that here the back is joined together. Now the next step is I'm going to iron gum stay, that's interfacing to all the sides of my fabric, and I'm going to pad the bust area of the 2 sides of the front. I made a video on how to pad an off-shoulder bustier, so if you don't know how to pad, be sure to see that video. I explain everything, how you should pad it and all of that in that video. Alright, so after you've prepared every single piece, the next thing is to stitch them together. So the first part we'll join together is the back. So here we have the points where we marked our dots. I've made 2 notches there. So the next step is to fold it, and we're going to stitch ½ inch from the bottom, taper out by the time we get to the top. I'm going to do that on both the fabric and the lining. Alright, so the next thing is to join 2 sides of the front together. So one side that has center of the front and side of the front, we're going to join them together. I'll do the same thing on the lining as well. Alright, so the next thing after joining them together is to spread it flat and iron it, okay? So let me go and do that and I'll be back. Alright, so after you've ironed both sides of the front, okay, so that the cups come out well, the next thing you're going to do is simply join them at the sides. So I'm going to join them together at 1.5 from here all the way down. Okay, I'm going to do the same. Whatever I do here, I'll repeat on the other side, and I'll do the same thing to the lining. Okay, so after you've stitched both sides together, make sure that you iron it flat, like so, after you've stitched it. And then the next step is for us to install our zipper. So you're going to take, this is the front side of the zipper over here, this is the back side. So you're going to place the front side of the zipper, that's the correct side of the zipper, facing down. Make sure to keep a space away from the bottom. So for me, I'm going to keep like 1 inch away from the edge. I'm going to come in to where I have my 1.5 inches, and I'm going to stitch from here all the way up. Okay, and then we're going to turn it to the opposite side and repeat the same step. Okay, we're going to stitch at 1.5 inches from the beginning, so from the edge to 1.5. Then make sure that you arrange it well. Stitch from the top all the way down. And after that, the next step is to bring our lining and join it to the fabric. Alright, after you have joined, you have fixed your zipper, you're going to zip down, and you're going to join the fabric to the lining. The clean side of the fabric facing the clean side of the lining. You're going to join ½ inch at the top and ½ inch at the bottom. so now after you have stitched the top and bottom, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to make notches around the curve. After you have done that, the next step is to sew where you see this line that you have here. That line is where you have your zipper allowance. That is where your needle landed. That's the seam that you use to fix your zipper. You want to sew as close to that zipper as possible. If you can sew on the same spot, do so, but ½ inch close to it is good enough. Alright, on this side of the zipper, you want to do the same thing. Alright, but before you start, you want to keep a space, alright, of at least 4 to 5 inches. This is where you will turn everything out of the space that you keep here, okay? So when you left that space, simply stitch to the top. After you have made this, you've made this stitch and you've left your opening, cut off your zipper, make a notch like so across where you have your zipper allowance. Alright, and then turn inside out from the space that you left over here. Alright, so after turning everything inside out, on this end that you have here where you turned out of, you can simply fold here in, give this a very good press, okay, and use your hemming gum to finish it. That means you put your hemming gum inside, or hemming tape, put it in and iron it. But first of all, iron it like so and iron the entire top. Alright, so now the next step, this is the body first of all. This is what the body, you can see, this is what the body looks like, okay? So as for the sleeves, it's quite easy. We've done this a couple of times, but let's just run it. Now, the shape that I cut, the sleeve length I'm working with is 22 inches, but I cut from here to down there at 26. Also, the bicep I'm working with is 11 inches, but I cut this one with an excess of 21 inches. So, the next thing I'm going to do is up here, I'm going to fold ½ inch, then I'm going to bend 1 inch, and I'm going to stitch from here down, do the same thing at the bottom, and then I'm going to pass this elastic through it. The elastic was cut with her bicep is 11. I cut this elastic at 9 inches. You'll need it to be a bit smaller around the wrist. For the wrist, I'm going to cut the one meant for the wrist at 7 inches. Alright, so let's do it. I'm going to fold ½ inch and hem straight down on this part here and at the bottom as well. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the elastic, you're going to use a safety pin like I'm doing to hold it in place, and then you're going to pass it through this 1.5 inch space that we have. Okay, once the elastic is completely in like this on this side, you want to use your sewing machine to make sure that you hold it in place by stitching back and forth, so that the elastic doesn't follow you in. Now, after this is out, next thing you want to do is also just tack here down. That's it for the top part. Now, on the inside of the top part, you want to use like a chalk and signify, just make a mark where you would remember, so that you know where's the top and where is the bottom, because the elastic that is supposed to be around, that will be around the wrist will have to be smaller so that it sits nicely around the wrist. So I'm going to cut this elastic for the wrist shorter by 2 inches. Okay, I'm going to cut the elastic shorter by 2 inches, and I'm going to basically do the same thing at the bottom. Alright, so now after I have done that, this side is the bottom, where I mark my chalk is the top. I'm going to join the both of them together, top and bottom, by ½ inch. Make sure that you use your overlocker to finish this rough edge from here all the way down for the neatest finish. So now I'm going to simply tap this onto one side of the armhole. Yep, that is the left side. Do the same thing on the other side. So this is just one sleeve. I'll go ahead and fix the sleeve on the other side, but that's basically how you do it. If you've watched this far into the video, thank you for watching. Please make sure to give the video a like if you liked the video. Okay, thank you so much for watching.